Hello and welcome to History Buff. In this video we are looking at the ghosts and the ghouls of Glamis Castle in Scotland. Glamis Castle has been around for over 650 years. Set against the stunning backdrop of the Grampian Mountains, the soaring towers and lofty battlements of Glamis Castle are both enchanting and mysterious. It is the seat of the Earl of Strathmore and Kinghorn and dates back to the 14th century, although much of what survives today is of a later date. Shakespeare himself made Macbeth Thane of Glamis and set the murder of King Duncan within the castle's gloomy walls, although the slaying actually took place near Elgin. Much of the castle was rebuilt in the 17th century when it acquired its French chateau look. In the early part of the 20th century, it was the childhood home of Lady Elizabeth Bowens-Lyon, who would later become the Queen Mother. The tranquil existence only extends to the castle, as many who lived here were not so lucky. It is said that Glamis Castle may be the most haunted castle in Scotland. The Page Boy. The ghost of a young page boy haunts the Queen Mother's sitting room. He was known for his mischief, and to try and discipline him for his frequent transgressions, he would be told to sit on a stone seat to think about what he had done wrong. On one frigid winter night, he was again made to sit on the stone. Eventually, everyone retired to their beds, forgetting to dismiss the little boy from the seat, and for once he obeyed and remained seated. Sadly, he froze to death during the night and was found the following day still sitting on the stone seat. Today, his ghost is still mischievous, has a habit of sticking out a foot to trip up any unwary visitors as they enter the room. The Lord of Glamis. A spirit is said to haunt the atmospheric crypt, reached via a connecting door from the splendid dining room. Behind one of the thick stone walls exists a secret chamber, around which many legends are woven. Earl Beardy, a lord of Glamis, was playing cards with the Earl of Crawford and was reluctant to give up the game, even though the Sabbath was rapidly approaching. No sooner had the clock chimed midnight than the devil appeared and asked to join the game. The rash Earl Beardy promptly gambled away his soul and died shortly after. For many years since, the sounds of cursing and swearing were heard echoing from the room at night, and in an attempt to quell the disturbances, the chamber was bricked up. But the foul-mouthed phantom could not be confined, and its fearsome spectre is still said to roam the castle in the dead of night. There are several reports of guests waking to find him leaning over their beds, gazing at them with evil intent. The Grey Lady. The castle's peaceful chapel is the haunt of the Grey Lady, thought to be the ghost of Janet Douglas, wife of John, the 6th Lord of Glamis. King James V hated the Douglas clan on account of the fact that it had been completely dominated by his Douglas stepfather and manipulated by other members of the family. Following the death of her husband, Janet married Archibald Campbell of Skipness and brought him to live at Glamis. But James had been waging a ruthless vendetta against the Douglas clan, including Archibald Douglas pictured here. In what can only be described as an act of petulant spite, he turned his attention to the popular and beautiful Lady Campbell and arrested her on a trumped-up charge of witchcraft. On the 17th of July 1537, she was led from Edinburgh Castle and burned at the stake on Castle Hill. Her ghost has been seen many times in the chapel, kneeling in silent prayer, a shimmering, translucent figure who exudes an aura of peaceful tranquility and melts into nothingness after a few short moments. The Monster of Glamis. By far the most famous tale is that of the Monster of Glamis. The generally accepted version of this story is that the monster was a badly deformed member of the lion family, hidden away in a secret chamber in the castle, which was bricked up after his death. Most researchers accept that the person that would have been known as the monster of Glamis was Thomas Leon Boaz, the oldest child of Thomas, Lord of Glamis. Thomas was born in October 1821 and reported by the midwife as healthy but deformed. However, it was recorded that Thomas passed away on the day of his birth. Since then, more and more tales have emerged from reports of a monster that roams the Glamis Castle. One speculation is that Thomas, rather than actually dying, was hidden away in a secret chamber, with this chamber eventually becoming his tomb. In addition to this, had Thomas survived, he would in fact be the rightful heir to the title and property. Glamis Castle has many secrets, and its walls must have borne silent witness to thousands of tragic and sinister events. Wandering its rooms, corridors and staircases, you can almost sense the eyes of the past occupants watching your progress, and it is easy to sympathise with the sentiments expressed by Sir Walter Scott when he visited. Famous author Richard Jones has referenced Glamis Castle in a number of his books about hauntings, and is quoted as saying specifically about Glamis Castle, "I began to consider myself as too far from the living and somewhat too near the dead." Thank you for watching History Buff. Please remember to like and subscribe, and click the notification bell to be reminded of any future uploads from the channel.